This remarkable wooden chair has been passed down through the guest family for generations.
Well, the story goes, it was made by an Indian chieftain, and it was given to our family who came over from Scotland.
According to family lore, it was crafted by a Native American chieftain and gifted to the guest's ancestors, who had recently immigrated from Scotland. The guest even has photographic evidence dating back 5 generations, showing various family members, including themselves, being rocked in this very chair.
Were you rocked in it?
Yes, my daughters were rocked in it as well.
Who is this handsome character?
This is my grandfather.
A grand photograph of the guest's grandfather accompanies a letter he wrote about the history of this cherished heirloom. The letter is filled with affection and nostalgia, highlighting a family tradition where each child was rocked in the chair, a symbol of warmth and continuity.
Also, she would tell me that when my feet would touch the floor, she wouldn't rock me anymore. And secretly, I hoped that my feet never touched the floor.
Yes.
Very, very sweet.
To determine the chair's true age, the appraiser explains that while the family history goes back 5 generations, this might only take us as far back as the 19th century. The appraiser also points out the bolts and nuts used to attach the rocker to the front legs, indicating modern technology, which suggests the chair was made in a more recent period. Named the Old Hickory Rocker, the chair is crafted from one of the strongest domestic hardwoods, hickory.
Now, there was a North Carolinian who moved to Indiana, which I think is where part of your family's from, and he started a company called the Old Hickory Chair Company in the 1890s.
Its design perfectly aligns with the work of the Old Hickory Chair Company, established in 1899 in Martinsville, Indiana. The company was renowned for producing Adirondack-style seating, much like this beautiful piece. Given that the guest's grandfather was born in the early 20th century, around the time the Old Hickory Chair Company was producing many of these chairs, the timeline fits well. With its robust construction, rich family provenance, and connection to a renowned American furniture maker, this piece would sell at an auction for...
It's probably at auction, I would estimate it at $1,000 to $2,000.
Wow. I'm really surprised, actually, that it's not older.
Brought in is a poster by Jean Carlu, a famous French graphic designer in the 1930s and 1940s. He was a member of a family of architects. His brother Jacques Carlu, for example, designed the Palais des Chaillot in Paris. But there was an aspect to him that was not obvious to people, which is that he had one arm.
But there was one very interesting fact about him that a lot of people don't know. He only had one arm.
One arm.
And he was working in France on this big exhibition.
He made posters during World War II, and this is an example of such posters. In 1939, he went to work in New York at the French Pavilion during the New York World Fair. Whilst in New York, the war broke out, so he ended up staying in New York and did some work in America. The fair went on concurrently with the Spanish-German War, so there was political tension between the Germans and the Russians.
Also, it was very politically charged because the Germans and the Russians each had a pavilion, so politically there was a lot of tension.
On the poster is the Russian flag on one side and the Spanish flag on the other end, with negative connotations. As for the size, this is the largest of 3 different sizes, and the poster exists in different languages. Due to the negative connotations, an auction estimate for this poster would be...
But at auction, I would estimate the value of the poster at between $2,500 and $3,500.
Cool.
The first distinctive feature you'll notice about this desk is its remarkably large size. It's a perfect example of vernacular furniture made by Americans. Vernacular furniture refers to the everyday furniture of ordinary people in a region. Although this desk is not the most aesthetically pleasing, it still showcases a great deal of craftsmanship. The desk is made from yellow pine wood, which is not typically used for desks. Its origins can be traced to the south, specifically to the region of Texas. Vernacular furniture is used in everyday life and thus requires special skills to craft. This desk's design follows a specific late 19th century classical style called pillar and scroll.
Is really sort of an extension of late classical design in the 19th century. There was a style in the 1840s called pillar and scroll design.
Interestingly, the desk also features an elaborate mechanism, making it even more special. Since it's a classic Texas design piece, it would fetch an auction price of...
Might push this up to $2,000 to $2,500.
Wow, my humble desk.
This hand-carved walking stick is a treasured family heirloom passed down through generations. It was commissioned by a tramp passing through town who was looking for work. The family law suggests it was purchased for a mere 25 cents, a sum that wouldn't even cover the cost of the wood. The cane is believed to have been made by a Union veteran, possibly to commemorate the Battle of Gettysburg. What makes this walking stick unique is it is adorned with intricate carvings symbolizing aspects of the Civil War, including a cannon, Abraham Lincoln's name, and insignia representing Union units from the Battle of Gettysburg. With carvings of notable figures like General Meade and Robert E. Lee, along with Pickett's name, it's a remarkable piece of history, valued between $3,000 to $5,000.
The value on this is $3,000 to $5,000.
Wow, that'll make my son very happy.
The guest came to the show with a Rolex Prince wristwatch that he said belonged to his uncle who had died. Although he did not inherit it from his uncle, he stumbled upon it in his mother's house, who had kept it after the death of his uncle. The Rolex watch has Eaton written on the face, which indicates that his uncle got it from the Eaton family when he was their employee at one of their stores. The watch was made in very little variation and was a high-grade 18-jeweled movement with an engraved Rolex & Company sign, indicating that the particular model was made in 1930 and was named Rolex Prince. The watch is worth between $5,000 to $6,000 in today's market.
This watch is worth between $5,000 and $6,000.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Oh my God.
A rocking chair was brought in by the guest, who had acquired it in Pennsylvania about 5 years ago. The fascinating piece was adorned with intricate figures. The appraiser noted the signature on the chair, depicting it as the work of Salvatore Pagano from Naples in 1884. The guest claimed it was from P.T. Barnum's estate. The chair featured characters from the Italian theatre, including Piero, Harlequin, and a mischievous monkey, representing the fantasy furniture movement in 19th century Italy. How much would the item be valued?
I would say that this is probably a $15,000 chair. I mean, it's really pretty fantastic.
These are rare memorabilia from the guest's great-grandfather, John Edward, who served as an aviator during World War I between 1914 and 1918. These items were taken from the aircraft he flew during the war, marking his contributions to military aviation history.
I was fortunate enough to meet John's son 2 years ago. The connection there was I'm on 6th Squadron at the moment, flying Typhoons from Royal Air Force Lottymouth.
One piece of memorabilia includes a medal awarded to John for his involvement in one of the earliest bombing missions of WW1.
He went to war again, not flying on active service, but he was an Air Commodore looking after the training of air cadets.
In a daring maneuver, he reportedly turned off the engine at 30 feet and glided in to ensure precision, a feat that highlighted his exceptional skill and bravery. John had a deep interest in a military career, joining the Royal Navy in 1908.
It's very poignant. He had a very interesting military career.
Later, his fascination with aviation led him to switch paths, becoming a founding member of a pioneering air squadron. His decision to join the Royal Flying Corps, a precursor to the Royal Air Force, or RAF, cemented his place in the early history of military aviation. Among the collection is a military cross for flying, awarded for his achievements during the first bombing raid. Another highlight is a 1914 star, an uncommon medal given to personnel who served on the front lines at the outbreak of the war. The memorabilia also has various medals from World War II, demonstrating John's continued involvement in military affairs across both world wars. Each piece reflects a chapter of his distinguished service and legacy. If they were to come up for auction, their extraordinary provenance, connection to early aviation, and the bravery they represent would undoubtedly command a substantial price of.
You'd be looking at somewhere between £8,000 and £10,000. So they really are very nice.
We're uncovering a hidden gem today, a rare treasure from the vibrant port city of Liverpool. This is an English pottery piece known as a Liverpool jug, made around the 1800s. The guest inherited it from her father, who found it at a barn sale.
My father, he got it at a barn sale, and he just paid a couple dollars for it.
This earthenware jug showcases neoclassical design elements, reflecting the artistic trends of that era. The craftsmanship highlights the beautiful skill of Liverpool potters from the 18th century. Historical jugs like this are rare and provide valuable insights into Liverpool's rich cultural heritage.
Traditionally, they would be known as Liverpool jugs. Certainly the most valuable ones are the American historical subjects.
With intricate designs and durable construction, this jug reflects the expertise of those artisans. Interestingly, similar jugs are prized treasures in institutions like the Liverpool Museum. Despite being from the 18th century, it shows no damage and is in very good condition. This stoneware Liverpool jug could bring a significant price at auction.
At a good auction, this will bring easily in the range of $5,000 to $7,000.
That's wonderful.
What we have on display today is a piece of jewelry brought into the show by a guest. The guest acquired the piece from her late aunt as part of an inheritance.
I received it as part of an inheritance from an aunt who was the wife of a partner of Andrew Carnegie in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Adorning this beautiful jewelry is a step-cut jade in the center, flanked by diamonds on either side. It also features fluted rock crystal and a stunning ascent of coral surrounding it. Upon closer inspection, we discover some numbers inscribed underneath the rims, indicating that it was made in the 1920s by Van Cleef Arpels. Van Cleef Arpels is a French jewelry company founded in 1896, although we can tell from the characteristics of the centerpiece that it was made during the Art Deco period. The gold rim surrounding it was added much later.
And then on the other side, made in France. Who would have made this? So I was hoping for a big name. And you know what? I got a great name. Van Cleef Arpels.
Originally, this piece was designed as a dress clip, but over time it lost its mechanism. Among collectors, Van Cleef Arpels jewelry is highly sought after, and this particular piece, though no longer in its original form, is still highly collectible. We can expect this vintage dress clip, given its rich qualities and the reputation of its maker, to sell for.
I would say if you had to go to public auction, we'd estimate it $5,000 to $7,000.
Wow,
which is
that's
great.
Extraordinary.
Have you ever seen a doll that epitomizes 19th century French luxury? On today's show, we have an antique doll made in the late 1880s by the French doll company Bourgeoisie et Compagnie. This doll was inherited by our guest from her grandmother, who purchased it in 1947.
You know, it's a brew. It's a very, very beautiful brew, made in France in the late 1880s. She has the closed mouth, as you see.
Several characteristics make this doll highly desirable, such as its closed mouth, brown paperweight eyes, and its original wig. Additionally, the doll retains its original clothes and shoes. Its face has an expressive, childlike look, with rounded cheeks and large almond-shaped glass eyes. Furthermore, the doll features wooden lower legs, a bisque head, bisque shoulder plates with swivels, and pierced ears. This brew doll is dressed in luxurious, detailed outfits, reflecting the height of French fashion in the late 19th century. However, the doll's two arms have been replaced, which could potentially affect its value at auction.
Well, the bad part is she's got something replaced on her. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's her arms.
Oh, all right.
Her arms are actually German bisque arms.
Even with the replaced arms, this doll remains highly valuable, and at auction, it would easily be worth.
So, with the replaced arms, her value on today's market at a doll show or a good auction would be around $15,000.
Wow.
Showcased at this moment is a distinctive ceremonial military sword that is a blend of several features. The sword has been passed down through different generations from the guest's great-grandfather, who was a cadet at the Royal Military Academy.
Because it's presented to a cadet at the Royal Military Academy.
This sword was originally intended for the Royal Military Academy, but there have been some modifications. Noticeable on the sword is a navy hilt, which represents the major modification of the sword.
But why has it got a naval hilt on it?
On the hilt of the sword is a unique design of a single basket as used in the Navy.
My grandfather served in the Royal Navy.
Additionally, on the hilt is a beautiful handle made of shark skin, popularly called shagreen. Shagreen is a type of rough, untanned leather that provides a textured, non-slip surface for the hand, making it easier to hold onto the sword. Interestingly, a sword knot is also expertly attached to the hilt of the sword. The purposes of a sword knot include decoration, secure grip, and sword retention. Ceremonial swords such as this are mainly given as honorary awards, and are used in rituals and ceremonies to represent a symbol of authority. Considering that this sword can be likened to having two swords in one, it will attract a price of...
Because you've got two swords in one, I would have thought that's going to make £700.
Before modern concealed carry became mainstream, Oscar Frankenau was already ahead of the curve with a clever invention, the purse revolver. Oscar Frankenau was a German inventor and firearms designer, best known for creating the purse revolver.
It is a change purse, as you see, and then when we turn it this way, this side reveals a pistol.
A guest on the show brought in a purse revolver, which he discovered while renovating an old building in Essex.
Center chimney cape, and it was in one of the side compartments behind the fireplace, tucked away in the back.
As its name suggests, at first glance, this item looks like an ordinary change purse. However, upon opening it, there's more than meets the eye. On the side of the purse, there's a button that, when pushed, reveals the firearm's barrel and a folding trigger underneath. The revolver's barrel and frame were made of steel, chosen to make the firearm both lightweight and durable. It operates on a pinfire system. A small pin sticks out of the back of the cartridge, and when the trigger is pulled, the revolver is fired. We can date this piece to the 1870s, and it was made in Germany. There are very few firearms of this type on the market, making this item quite scarce. Given its rarity and the history behind this concealed weapon, it is estimated to be worth.
It would bring somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000.
Excellent.
This esteemed collection boasts a rich historical lineage, tracing back to the imperial family of Russia's final dynasty. The collection comprises 2 exquisite golden Easter eggs, an ornate dagger, and a rare photograph album featuring esteemed members of royalty. As commander of HMS Marlborough, the guest's grandfather played host to Dowager Empress Maria Feodorovna in 1919. These items were bestowed upon him in acknowledgement of his hospitality and distinguished service.
My grandfather was the gunnery officer on board HMS Marlborough.
Maria Feodorovna, also known as Dagmar of Denmark, was the last Empress Dowager of Russia. The HMS Marlborough, an Iron Duke-class battleship, was sent by King George V to rescue Maria Feodorovna and other members of the Romanov family from the Russian Revolution. Notable among these keepsakes are 2 enchanting miniature Easter eggs.
We have got 2 miniature Easter eggs.
This collection also holds a historic photograph album documenting the royal Russian family and Dowager Empress Maria.
And then we've got these very, very poignant snaps taken. I think snaps is the right word, isn't it?
Probably, yes. Yes.
And here we see the Dowager Empress here with her pet dog.
The crowning jewel of this collection is a sumptuously decorated dagger, boasting delicate etchings, polished metals, and a dash of imperial splendor.
Here's this very Cossack dagger we have before us in a leather sheath.
The cumulative value of this breathtaking collection is nothing short of astonishing, totaling.
I don't really hesitate for saying that it's worth, well, £15,000.
Wow.
A serving spoon made by Paul Revere is on display today. Paul Revere, born in 1734 in Boston, Massachusetts, apprenticed as a smith under his father. He worked as a silversmith leading up to the Revolutionary War and was best known for his iconic midnight ride in April 1775.
He was a silversmith leading up to the Revolutionary War and is most iconically known for his great midnight ride in April of 1775.
The guest's husband purchased this spoon years ago in Baltimore. This hand-wrought spoon features a tapered handle and is constructed from coin silver. It is a large tablespoon, ideal for serving. The spoon bears a mark reading Revere, which confirms its attribution to Paul Revere Jr. This piece matches the style and craftsmanship of work he likely completed after returning from the war, around 1780 to 1790.
Likely circa 1780 to 1790, somewhere in there. He continued acting as a smith until his death in 1818.
On the back of the spoon there is a monogram, a common design at the time. This monogram may be linked to the original owner, further increasing the spoon's value. The spoon is quite rare, and its size is exceptional, measuring nearly 9 inches with a generously sized bowl. Given its provenance, this piece would likely command a conservative price of.
This spoon would likely garner $8,000 to $10,000 should it cross the auction block.
This time is a piece of furniture belonging to this guest's grandmother, which was passed down from her late aunt.
It passed to my aunt. When my aunt died, I was allowed to choose one thing that was special, and I chose this.
This furniture piece is popularly known as a Rhode Island highboy base.
It is a piece of 18th century furniture.
Okay.
And it's from Rhode Island.
A Rhode Island highboy base is a distinctive feature of a specific style of American colonial furniture, particularly from the Rhode Island region. The legs of this piece are unique, as they are usually small and tender, typically measuring 6 to 8 inches high with a pointed knee.
If we look at the legs on this piece, there is this arras knee, that's pointy knee, and also that pointed slipper foot.
In Rhode Island, such legs are typically separated from the main body of the wood, unlike the common practice among other makers. Interestingly, this particular piece of furniture is a base for a highboy, although it is easy to confuse it with other styles. It is strongly believed that this piece has been modified to stand independently from its original top section, as indicated by the noticeable adjustments on the surface. The additional adjustments and modifications to this base were made in the 19th century to suit the owner's preferences. This magnificent highboy base is painted black and features a design of gold stripes attached to it. Highboy bases like this were used in various types of furniture, including chests, cabinets, and dressers. Considering the rare quality of a piece from Rhode Island, this furniture will command a value of.
Between the range of $2,000 and $4,000.
Okay, okay. Well, that's wonderful. That's great, but it's interesting. I never would have expected that it would have had a top.
Portraits not only capture a person's likeness, but also reveal their personality and emotions. During an appraiser discussed a painting the guest had for 20 years. The guest had purchased the painting for $100 at a local auction from an estate sale. The appraiser identified the artist as Karl Reichert, an Austrian known for painting animals, especially dogs.
Reichert has two really distinct kinds of paintings. One type is the anecdotal painting.
He explained that Reichert created two types of paintings: humorous stories about animals and serious portraits of purebred dogs. The painting the guest owned depicted a Great Dane, focusing on its face and blue eyes. The appraiser noted that the dog's collar was a beautiful example of 19th century style.
But the thing that I really like about this painting is the collar. This is a great illustration of a 19th century dog collar,
highlighting the painting's beauty and importance. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
"A painting like this by Reichert, I'd probably put an estimate of about $4,000 to $6,000 on it."
The guest brought a collection of items belonging to his wife's grandfather, William D. Merritt, who played football for the University of North Carolina, UNC, from 1892 to 1895. The items included an old football, a football uniform, and a team photograph. The appraiser highlighted William Merritt's football career at UNC, noting that the team had started in 1888 and was already competitive by the time Merritt played.
In the back row, on the right side, that would be your wife's grandfather.
That's Mr. William Merritt right there.
William D. Merritt. The North Carolina football program, of course.
Examining the items, the appraiser pointed out the historical significance of the collection. The team photograph included Merritt, and one player was seen wearing an early piece of facial protection, a leather nose guard. The football was described as a melon ball, or rugby-style ball, which had a bladder inside that often deflated by the end of a game. The uniform, featuring a bib front inspired by firemen's uniforms, was especially rare. The photograph was taken by Charles Milton Bell, a well-known American photographer, which added to its value. The collection was considered unique and valuable as an archive and was appraised at.
You're going to want to insure this group for $25,000.
Wow.
The guest brought an item that had been in their family for many years. The item was identified as a Japanese flower vase designed to hold a single flower. It dated back to the late 19th century, specifically from the Meiji period, which lasted from 1868 to 1912. The vase was estimated to have been made around 1890 and was crafted from an alloy called shibuichi.
This material is called shibuichi, which in Japanese means 25%.
The combination created a grey appearance, except in the middle, where there was a decorative cloisonné, a technique in which gold wires separates different sections of enamel. Shibuichi pottery was known for its unique appearance and often featured nature-inspired motifs. Additionally, the piece was signed Katsuhiro, which the appraiser believed referred to Suzuki Katsuhiro. The appraiser noted that the vase had some condition issues which affected its overall price. Without the damage, the appraiser speculated the vase could fetch $40,000 to $50,000 at auction. However, in its current condition, the value was estimated to be,
I would say maybe conservatively $25,000 to $35,000.
Holy cow.
Guest brought a collection of paintings by the North Carolina folk artist Ruth Russell Williams. The guest had become friends with Ruth in the 1990s and had acquired the paintings directly from her. The appraiser highlighted details about Ruth, whose paintings often reflected her life experiences.
Ruth also had a hobby as an artist. These are a series of paintings that she actually kind of developed for me.
The pieces in the guest collection were oil on canvas and featured vibrant colors. They primarily depicted women at various stages of life, from young girls to sophisticated women. These figures were often surrounded by nature, particularly flowers, which further emphasized the connection between the artist and traditional Southern living. One of the paintings included a special inscription on the back that read, "May God bless you, Ruth Russell Williams." The appraiser explained that Ruth had gained both local and national attention for her art. The paintings in the guest collection dated from the late 1980s and early 1990s. In terms of value, the guest revealed that they had paid no more than $600 for the entire collection. Considering the personal and artistic significance of the collection, the value estimated was significantly higher.
I would estimate the small piece at probably $2,000 to $3,000. The centerpiece I would estimate at $3,000 to $4,000, and love this. And I would estimate this at between $4,000 and $6,000.
Okay.
This climbing axe originally belonged to the guest's great-grandfather, Harry Carstens, who was part of the first expedition to ascend Denali.
My great-grandfather is Harry Carstens. He climbed in 1913. He was working on a ranch in Billings, Montana, when a guy came into town talking about gold. Came to the gold rush in 1897.
In 1913, when the mountain was known as Mount McKinley, Harry and his team made history by reaching its summit.
This is an amazing object. In 1913, the name of the mountain was Mount McKinley at the time.
Yes. Some of the guys I climbed with, we actually spoke at Cogna, the naming authority that deals with names.
Denali is the tallest mountain in North America, standing at an impressive remeasured height of 20,310 feet.
Denali is one of the many, many native names.
It's the tallest mountain in North America.
It is the tallest mountain in North America. It was just remeasured at 20,310 feet.
The 1913 expedition was significant, not only for its achievement, but also for the challenges faced by the climbers, including treacherous weather conditions and difficult terrain. Harry Carstens led a team of only 4 climbers, making their successful ascent a remarkable feat of endurance and skill. While 3 of the original climbers are no longer living, this climbing axe remains a testament to their incredible journey. Mountaineering has become a niche category for highly specialized collectors, and artifacts from significant climbs are exceptionally rare. The materials used in the construction of this axe, specifically designed for climbing, are not commonly found, and are often traded privately, if at all.
The problem is that we don't see a lot of materials.
That's right.
Stays in the family,
yes,
as it has with yours.
This climbing axe was used in a milestone event, marking the first successful climb to the summit of Denali, which has inspired countless climbers since. If this piece were to come up for auction or for insurance purposes, its provenance and historical significance would likely command a substantial price of.
So at retail, for insurance purposes, $20,000.
Oh, no, it's a little bit too much.
£3,000.
Exhibited here is an ink-on-paper painting that, at first glance, one can't help but notice the skillfulness of its creator. The flow of ink across the surface creates a natural texture, almost like a dance between control and unpredictability. This intriguing painting was created by Chen Wen Hsi in 1981. Chen Wen Hsi was a Chinese-born Singaporean artist known for his avant-garde Chinese paintings. The guest inherited this painting from his late father, who received it directly from Chen Wen Hsi himself.
It belonged to my late father, who travelled to Singapore regularly.
The painting features a depiction of 3 birds resting on the branch of a bamboo tree. In the lower right corner of the artwork, we can see the artist's signature, which further helps to authenticate it. What makes this painting even more fascinating is that it was executed in the traditional style of Chinese calligraphy. Furthermore, not only did the artist employ ancient Chinese techniques, but he also used his fingers to create some parts of the painting.
But what's really key with Chen Wen Hsi is that not only did he use a calligraphic brush, but he also used his finger.
It is also worth noting that the guest has done a remarkable job of preserving this piece over the years, as evidenced by its pristine condition. At the time this painting was created, Hsi was at the peak of his career, and given its current physical state, this item would easily be worth.
We'd probably put an estimate in the region of £2,000 to £3,000.
We have here a set of photographs taken by the American photographer Carlton Watkins. Watkins was one of the premier photographers of the American West. His focus was mainly on landscape photography and the Yosemite Valley. This set of photographs follows the subject matter of Yosemite and is quite memorable. Yosemite Valley is home to many famous cliffs and waterfalls. The pictures taken here are from the 1870s and are still in great condition. Watkins was also famous for taking photographs of other places, including the Columbia River. He used a distinct type of camera called a mammoth camera. These photos are special because they feature Carlton himself, which is rare. As a representation of Carlton's works, these photographs would sell for a fascinating pair of early diving helmets passed down through generations tells the story of deep-sea exploration and craftsmanship. Inherited from a naval officer and deep-sea diver father, these helmets hold both deep sentimental and historical significance. One helmet is American, crafted by Morse in Massachusetts, a renowned name in diving history. The British-made helmet hails from Sieber Gorman, the London company that pioneered the diving industry's evolution. Diving helmets were first conceived in 1820 by the Dean brothers as a solution for firefighters to combat smoke. Later, these early designs were adapted into the iconic copper and brass helmets made by Sieber that became essential for deep-sea divers.
Actually adapt the helmets so that they could be diving helmets. Obviously, they're made from copper and brass, as you can see.
By the 1830s, the helmets were refined over time, making underwater exploration possible. Each helmet, weighing around 40 kilos, was part of a complex system of air pipes designed to sustain divers deep underwater. Uncertain of the helmet's value, the owner discovered that these remarkable pieces are worth between
The pair of them, somewhere between 15 and 25,000 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
A painting by Alice Rahon, a blend of oil and sand, captures a vivid scene of birds emerging from a backdrop of reeds. Blue tones dominate the composition, strikingly contrasting the natural elements. The artist scraped the painting's surface, coaxing the sand to dance and adding a tactile texture that breathes life into the scene. Reflecting her unique style as both a poet and an artist, this piece bears Rahon's signature.
It's signed Alice Rahon, who was an artist born in France, but then spent most of her life in Mexico.
Originally from France, Rahon's journey took a significant turn during World War II when she moved to Mexico. There she developed a friendship with the renowned artist Frida Kahlo, who encouraged her to explore painting. This painting became part of the family's collection as a heartfelt gift to the mother for curating a realist exhibition in Beirut. Its artistic and historical value has led to an estimated worth of
Probably sell for an estimate in the region of £12,000 to £18,000.
Wow. Here we have a rare piece of wood known as a nui, a traditional Polynesian club. Its distinctive features included a medial ridge and a shape that hinted at its functional importance. With its natural patina along the edges, the nui bore the marks of age and use. Its small, intricate decorations hinted at the deep cultural significance it held for the people of Nui, an island between Tonga and Samoa. Crafted from ironwood and adorned with shark teeth points, the club possessed a unique charm. Originally purchased over 30 years ago in a junk or antique shop in Medway, the Nui was a hidden gem. This Nui could date back to the 18th century, a time rich with exploration and discovery. It may even hail from the era when Captain Cook faced fierce resistance trying to land on Nui, a place once known as the Savage Island.
This little bit of decoration, it's like a kind of ironwood, but this was known as the Savage Island.
Today, if brought to auction or displayed in a gallery, its estimated value would be between
It came up for auction, 12 to 20,000.
Stop it. Really?
A charming Victorian painting of rabbits, once admired but never closely questioned, became an unexpected inheritance. These adorable baby rabbits, sitting among oversized carrots, add to the picture's charm. Hanging for years in a relative's home, its sentimental charm was clear, but its inheritance came as a surprise. Since then, the artwork moved from room to room, bringing a gentle sweetness to each space. Upon closer inspection, it revealed the signature of Thomas William Earl, a notable Victorian animal painter.
And it's signed down here, and I don't know whether you've had a close look at it, it's Thomas Earl. And there are several Earls, and they're all animal painters.
Earl came from a family of artists, with his brother George also known for his animal portraits. This piece is thought to be the Rabbit Family, a painting Earl exhibited at the Royal Academy. Despite its sentimental charm, the painting could charm its way to an auction price of
And I think if this came up for auction, it would make somewhere in the region of £3,000 to £5,000.
A stunning mid-century Italian ceramics collection from the 1950s to 1970s captures the era's timeless beauty and artistry. Once ubiquitous and highly popular, the ceramics gradually faded from public attention, but are now experiencing a revival in interest. Created by the renowned Piero Fornasetti, these ceramics are celebrated for their striking designs.
I mean, you've hit a couple of great words there. We're looking at mid-century Italian. We're looking, of course, at the work of the great Piero Fornasetti.
Many of his pieces feature portraits of girls, along with other distinctive and unique patterns that set his work apart. Throughout his career, Fornasetti mastered the art of pattern and surface design, continually pushing creative boundaries. A pivotal turn in his career came with a chance meeting with famed Italian architect Gio Ponti, shaping his artistic path. After Piero's passing, his son Barnabas revived the company, sparking a renewed passion for his father's iconic creations. Today, these exquisite ceramic pieces are highly sought after at auction, with an estimated value of
I think you've got about £1,000 sat here.
That's good. Thank you.
A remarkable collection of medals from both world wars reveals a profound family legacy of bravery and sacrifice. The top set honours Sergeant Thomas Cohen from World War I, while the second celebrates his son Archie Johnson, a World War II sailor.
Well, this one's my father. This is Archie Johnston, MBE. He served in the Royal Navy during the Second World War.
Among these medals shines a prestigious military medal awarded for extraordinary bravery during World War I.
All of these medals that they issued in the First World War came with what is called the citation.
Amid the lost citations from the Blitz in 1940, a remarkable letter illuminates Sergeant Cohen's brave actions. Dated July 1916, a black-edged letter reveals Cohen's courageous act of retrieving the mortally wounded Major Harding. Despite Major Harding's tragic passing soon after, the letter from Harding's family conveys gratitude for Cohen's bravery.
Was that he had also won the Military Cross, which is the officer equivalent of that, and he died when he was 23 years old.
Sergeant Cohen survived the war but faced machine gun injuries, ultimately passing away 6 years later during surgery to remove shrapnel. Despite the sorrowful end, Cohen was honored with a military funeral, a testament to his bravery. Combined with the poignant letter, this deeply personal set of medals carries immense historical value. The two sets of medals, whispering tales of bravery, are estimated to be worth around
somewhere around £1,000 worth of medals.
Right.
A 19th century sword, once wielded by whirling dervishes, Sufi followers, spins with rich history and cultural grace. With their graceful spinning prayer, the whirling dervishes once wielded this sword as part of their sacred tradition.
They would whirl around because that was the way they chose to pray to their god, and it's quite a graceful dance.
Long hidden, the late 19th century blade was only recently revealed in a moment of discovery. Its straight blade, discovered hidden away in a family cupboard, adds to its mystique. Shrouded in mystery, the sword was unearthed unexpectedly while sorting through family belongings. It features a clean, well-preserved blade, a leather grip, and an iron crossguard that reflects the craftsmanship of its era. Though its full history is unclear, the sword is a rare and intriguing artifact. Its estimated value at auction could reach around.
On a good day, it would probably make £200 in auction.
£200. Yeah, I've been waiting a long time to see that blade.
A stunning Art Deco cloud chair has captured attention, known for its beautiful design and classic shape. Elegantly veneered in walnut, the chair boasts a striking bare wood back, embodying the essence of Art Deco style. Discovered online by a student upholsterer, this chair sparked an immediate affection. Research reveals its echoes of Morris Epstein's late 1930s designs, typically in leather, raising questions about authenticity. In 1929, a transformative shift occurred at Epstein's company when his sons, Harry and Lou, took the reins, steering it into a new era. Inspired by the 1925 Paris exhibition, Epstein's firm crafted a distinctive British take on Art Deco with nationalistic flair.
Now, they were hugely inspired by the 1925 Paris exhibition.
This chair is believed to be a remnant of what was once a magnificent Art Deco dining suite.
Is that they are considered the epitome of the British interpretation of Art Deco.
Its solid timber back and sweeping design hint at its authentic roots in Epstein's collection. This stunning Art Deco cloud chair is estimated to be worth around
anything up to £400.
An exquisite Persian jacket, a stunning piece of craftsmanship, showcases the beauty of traditional attire. Crafted from luxurious silk velvet, this late 18th century garment hails from the Qajar dynasty. It showcases intricate hand-embroidered bullion thread, highlighting the exceptional craftsmanship of the era. Elegantly trimmed with silkwork and lively fringe detail, the jacket showcases exquisite craftsmanship. Its fantastic condition stands as a testament to its enduring beauty. Passed down through generations, it's a cherished heirloom from the great-great-grandmother.
This has been in my family as far back as I remember. Certainly it goes to my great-great-grandmother.
Worn over a loose shirt and short skirt with leggings, it reflects classic feminine style. A jacket of this exquisite quality and rich history often fetches an auction estimate of
Have a pre-sale estimate of around £300 to £400.
I see.
This pocket watch is one of the most unique ones you would see today. It's called a dollar watch, and it literally sold for $1. This particular watch is special because it commemorated the 1929 trip of the Graf Zeppelin. The Graf Zeppelin was a German airship that flew from 1928 to 1937. After its creation, it offered the first commercial transatlantic passenger flight service. It's likely that this dollar watch was produced between 1928 and 1937. The idea of the dollar watch is attributed to an American businessman named Robert Hawley Ingersoll. The goal of the production was to mass-produce the first inexpensive pocket watch of its time.
Right, so let's turn the watch around and show everybody that. It's what's known in the business as a dollar watch. Literally cost $1.
Hence, that's why the watch sold for $1 and was affordable at the time.
They go with it. I tell them it's $1 then, and it's usually about $1 now.
$1 now.
I got good news for you.
Nevertheless, nowadays the watch is worth much more, and at auction it would attract.
We're talking $1,200 to $1,500.
Wow.
This exquisite piece of jewelry was inherited by the guest from her grandmother, accompanied by a photograph of her grandmother and grandfather. Her grandmother, a model in New York during the early 20th century, wore this ring with elegance and pride.
And this was probably one of the most beautiful things that she left me.
And she was a model in New York?
The ring is crafted by Tiffany & Co., with the brand's hallmark stamped on the inner band, affirming its authenticity. Furthermore, the centerpiece is a rare Ceylon star sapphire, a gem that originates from what is now Sri Lanka, previously known as Ceylon. Historically, such large and pristine sapphires were more abundant, but stones of this size are increasingly rare today. This striking blue stone is approximately 25 carats, making it a standout example of the craftsmanship of its era. In the 1920s, men often wore star sapphire rings as pinky rings, but Tiffany & Co. responded to women's envy by designing versions specifically for them, incorporating platinum and diamonds into their creations.
And when you shine a light on it, when the sunlight hits it, you get a beautiful star. And since it is Tiffany,
the design reflects subtle luxury, with diamonds discreetly placed beneath the ring, hidden from immediate view. Also, the star sapphire is renowned for its chatoyancy, a reflective optical phenomenon that creates a captivating six-pointed star under direct light.
star sapphires have a chatoyance that becomes a six-pointed star. And how clear that star is, it makes the ring more valuable.
This effect adds to the stone's allure and exclusivity. Though similar rings are occasionally produced today, the hidden diamond detailing seen in earlier designs is no longer common. Given the rarity, craftsmanship, and provenance of this piece, in an auction, a ring like this could fetch a significant price of.
A ring like that in today's market could easily be sold for somewhere in retail and $25,000 to $35,000.
Oh, that's wonderful.
A remarkable collection of pottery and porcelain showcases the artistic evolution of the Reed family, spanning from around 1820 to 1925.
How the styles of pottery and porcelain have changed from about 1820 to about 1925.
A stunning plate by George Wallace Croft Reed heralds the start of the family's artistic legacy. George's son, Frederick Alfred Reed, also contributed significantly to the family's pottery tradition. Though not directly his, the plate reflects Frederick's artistic legacy, shaped by his work at iconic factories like Minton and Wedgwood. This piece highlights the technique of vibrant paste-on-paste porcelain decoration. His children continued the artistic lineage, with Charlotte Reed emerging as a key figure. Initially working with her father, she later led the tube liners, creating vividly colored pieces with intricate cake piping designs.
Designed and made them, took inspiration from pictures that he'd seen in galleries.
Yes, amazing, isn't it?
The designs were just something the world had never seen.
Frederick Hurton Reed, a teenage talent of the arts and crafts movement, designed distinctive plates that highlighted his early genius. A pair of his 1896 plates shines with rarity and artistry, capturing the eyes of discerning collectors. The collective value of the Reed family's pottery and porcelain collection is estimated to be approximately...
If these were to come up at auction, I'd have to pay £5,000 for the pair.
Wow. Wow.
These French porcelain vases this guest brought to the show exude everything royalty and beauty. The porcelain vase was made around 1860 in Limoges, France. Looking closely at this vase, you will see excellent hand-painted flower designs that speak of the craftiness and details that went into the creation of such vases. The demand for this quality and scale is still high in today's market. The value of this pair of vases is estimated at around $10,000.
In an antique shop, for the pair, they would sell for at least $10,000 today.
Right.